whatever you wind up doing is exactly what you should be doing.
And I have not behaved one single day of my life. Not one day of my life have I behaved, and I am fine.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people.
Whose car are we gonna take?
Thank you for joining us on the Nikki Medoro Show live on YouTube starting at noon every day on the West Coast Pacific time. Thank you, everybody that's already waiting in the chat room. It is Tuesday, December 20th. We're just crawling. I am crawling. Are you crawling to the holidays? We'll be talking about that in the last couple of days. I will not be hosting a show on Friday and the following Monday, so get your fill, but I will be posting some shorts, and possibly I have something in the work for Patreon subscribers. So on that note, let's click that thumbs up button to show some free support to the show. It helps our algorithm. And then please, if you can, be a Patreon member, a subscriber to the Nikki Medoro Show. It's really easy. You can donate any amount you want to, from $5 to $50. I have some $100 subscribers. I love you guys. So just go to NikkiMedoroShow.com, and our Patreon link is right there, along with links to share the show with your family and your friends. Also, you will notice behind me some fabulous merchandise that you can also find at NikkiMedoroShop.com. The link is also found at NikkiMedoroShow.com as well. And pick up some merchandise. We have cups. We have a big logo shirt right there. There's one with a smaller logo that's just like a circle right there. That's my favorite one. We also have tote bags, and I have other things in the works in the coming years. So I really appreciate everybody that has been able to purchase some merchandise. And if it comes, because I'm getting all kinds of notifications, guys, that your merchandise is on the way, please send me a picture of you wearing it or holding it. We had Jim send in a picture. He got the tote bag, and he was at the farmer's market. That's amazing. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It makes me warm and fuzzy inside because I know you guys are sporting my merch, and I've never had merchandise like this before. So I love you guys. I really appreciate it. We have to say thank you to our exclusive founding sponsor, Steve Moskowitz, who's amazing. He's one of the main reasons that we can afford to continue doing the show. And then, of course, everybody in the chat room right now, in the live chat, donating. The super chat is live. And so I know that there's people that love to support us that way, including a man who's becoming like another Steve Moskowitz in the chat room, which of course is Andreas, who's starting us off with $20. So Andreas, you know I love to give you kisses. So thank you to you and everybody else that can throw some dollars our way. I'll give you shout outs throughout the show, and it's going to be a good one. So coming up today, one interesting question regarding election deniers. Now, obviously, these are members of the GOP, and in a minute or two, I will play you some sound of Carrie Lake, who is just, I'm sorry, lady, you need to go away. But it's a good question. Should election deniers, given the fact that it is a fact that the election was not stolen, that is a fact, should they be expelled from Congress? So you guys can tell me in the chat room. I'll play you some sound from Carrie Lake because she's not letting it go. And I don't think she has the clout or the reputation or the love, in all honesty, to keep going and doing this. Also coming up, Elon really, really does not want to leave the company that he owns. He's looking for a new CEO. He put some Twitter poll out there. That makes people nervous. If you really want Elon Musk at the helm, obviously he's still going to own the company, but he does not want to be the CEO. Would you want to be the CEO of Twitter? With everything going on, would you want to do that? We do have to touch on the Harvey Weinstein verdict. The rapist has been found guilty again, although the first partner, Jennifer Siebel Newsom, the jury did not find him guilty of assaulting her. And she says it's disappointing and that we have a long way to go in this country. And we do. Kate Winslet. Now, this always makes the rounds. You know, people start watching Titanic and there's always that scene at the end, and it's not a spoiler alert. You haven't seen Titanic yet. I mean, geez. Jack dies at the end. Okay. So there's this big question of whether he could have fit on the door that Kate Winslet's floating on. that basically helps her survive in the very cold ocean water. So she weighs in on it. And I'll play you that because it's kind of funny. But then she also weighs in on a regret that she has. And we've heard about the double standard. Look, there's a double standard in Hollywood. There's a double standard in life. Okay. But it's this point she's making of when she speaks up and what she speaks up about. And we've all been in that situation, where somebody says something and then you walk away and you're like, damn it, I should have said this or I should have said that. And you didn't. And so Kate Winslet kind of talks about that a bit. I have to touch, because they're my Niners, on that rookie prank at dinner, which I just found absolutely hilarious, and not understanding the criticism. There is some good news for all of you who are looking for a new car. Finally, right? Some good news there. And I know everyone's sprucing up their houses for the holidays. My house is a mess behind me or in front of me. There's an interesting article, and I'm going to go through all these tips and tricks of using food from your pantry to clean your house. So we'll get into all of that in the next hour as well. But let's start with some politics, okay? So Carrie Lake, you'll remember she was running in Arizona. She did not win, although it was close. Stupid lady that she was. And she was made fun of a lot because it was, it's election fraud, until it started looking like she was winning. And she's like, yes, the voters' voices are being heard. You saw what she was doing when she thought she was winning or she was up. Oh, there's no election fraud. Oh, she's losing. There's election fraud. She didn't play it well. And people, I think that there's a growing number. I'm not going to say it's most, but I think there's a growing number of people that are just tired with the whole election fraud, vote stealing nonsense. And why? Because there's no proof. There is no proof because it did not happen. Well, let me share my screen with you. So here she is. Where was she? So this video comes from the Republican Accountability Project. It was shared on Twitter. Why would I even wonder? She was at Mar-a-Lago. Okay. So this is a little bit of her speech, I guess, that she gave last Thursday. And I'll hopefully turn up the volume. I hope you can hear it. If they don't, I'll give you a verbatim. But again, here she is once again, not understanding. Oh, here, let me do it this way. Let's see if I can do it this way. Do you guys see this tab? All right, let's play it. Let's just play it, shall we?
And we just had such a huge movement going into election day. So to watch these evil bastards. Can I say that here? Is that all right? To watch them steal this in broad daylight. And if they think they're going to get away with it, they messed with the wrong bitch, okay?
Woo! Okay, so yeah, she calls them evil bastards who are stealing this election, and they messed with the wrong bitch. No, you lost. You look like a fool. You look like an idiot. You did not get this election stolen from you. You lost. Try again next time. What happened to that in American politics? I mean, that's what we need to get back to. Don't be a sore loser, because that's going to carry around with you now. Now she has a reputation of being badass crazy and an election denier. And I do wonder whether, if you are an election denier, whether or not you should be disqualified from staying in office. It's an interesting question. Should election deniers, which, sorry, they're Republicans, be expelled? So Simone Sanders, she was on Simone Sanders Townsend, pardon me. She was on MSNBC with Joy Reid, of course. They're both on there. And I'm going to play you a little bit of this sound. And she poses this question, and I think makes an extremely good, valid point that, yeah, expel their butts right out of Congress.
Quite concerning. Joy, I was watching your show earlier today, and you talked about how post-Civil War, the folks who sided with the Confederate members of Congress, they were taken care of. They were expelled. In this Congress, there are multiple individuals that conspired, that were willing to move hell and high water to disrupt the peaceful transition of power. And my fear, and frankly, I think the fear of many Americans out there, is that nothing is going to happen to them.
And Ron Johnson now has 6 more years to do whatever shenanigans he feels like doing in Congress. I mean, would that the Mandela Barnes campaign had this kind of information to go into that election with?
Well, they had some of it. They had his
Well, they didn't use
denials.
it. Yeah. I mean, it's actually a huge problem for our democracy that we still have what amount to insurrectionists serving and in the House of Representatives, and they'll have power, some of them.
Exactly. So let's welcome Kim McAllister to the show. I'm asking a basic question, Kim, as Simone Sanders Townsend and Joy Reid were posing. If you are, and it's Republicans, because they're the ones that are doing this, if you are an election denier, if you still think that Joe Biden stole the election from former President Trump, should you be expelled? Because I'm thinking that you are undermining your oath of office and our democracy. And yeah, get the hell out. If you don't believe in our system of government, of our system of elections, then you are threatening the very fabric of what this country is built on.
So we were talking earlier with David K. Johnson about literacy levels in America and how most people have either a 3rd or a 6th grade reading level.
Ooh, that's really low.
It's very low, right? And so I feel like, so there's 2 schools of thought. Number 1, you're an election denier because you're malicious and you're just out for a certain agenda. And number 2, you're an election denier because you legitimately believe that the election was stolen, because maybe you don't have the critical thinking skills to look at
Then
the
you're on
truth.
drugs. I mean, then
Like,
you didn't try.
So what I'm saying is you can't outlaw stupidity, right?
No.
So, and you can't outlaw free speech. So you would really have to prove that someone was being malicious in their election denying. And what if they're just a really kind of dumb person? Hate to
And
say
they should be
it.
out of Congress, because then they shouldn't serve. I mean, I think that if you watched any of the January 6th hearings, that's also important, because I know there are members of the GOP that refused to watch this show trial, right? So if you're not even going to do the bare minimum of figuring out what the hell led to January 6th, you're in on it. Then you are purposely like putting the blinders on, and not wanting to see the truth. And then if you dig a little bit farther down, why? And it's because your side lost.
Yeah.
And that is a threat to our country. I mean, thank God it worked out the way it did after January 6th.
So most of those people knew that the election was not stolen, and they did it with a
Right.
malicious intent. You
Exactly.
heard Giuliani telling the folks in Arizona, "Hey, I know, we know we lost.
Oh, yeah.
But all we need is an opening. All we
Mhm.
need is just a little room to create some chaos and stir up the pot. If we can just create a little bit of doubt, that's all we need."
Then we're in. Yeah. And
So
you heard
they
Roger
knew
Stone
it.
saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Just say
They
it.
knew it.
Just
They
say
knew
it.
So if you can say that someone is doing it with malicious intent, which I think most of the people by now are, then great. But as far as like everyday Americans, there's a lot of people that really believe that because they were told that by Fox News, and they just believe whatever they're told.
Yeah, I mean, and they want to believe it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And if all the evidence is showing that they're wrong, then obviously the whole thing is skewed, and it's social media, and it's never that you were made a fool. And I think, and I say this because I know, and you know, people in our personal lives that are conservative or Republican and are really unhappy that Joe Biden is president, and wanted it to be true that the former President Trump won the election, or it was stolen. They want to believe that, because the opposite.
Election deniers, though, I don't know anyone who actually will look me in the face and say that, because that's just a blatant lie.
I don't know anybody that said it to my face, but I have said, "Oh, it's rigged. Oh, there's something going on. I don't know what happened, but and that's a dangerous thing to promote." And it backfired on the GOP in the midterms. Look what happened. You cannot tell the people that will vote for you that the elections are rigged. Why the hell are they going to get off their butt to vote then? Why? Why would they vote? It is self-induced voter suppression that's hobbling them. Pardon me. So I don't know if there's going to be a change of message from the GOP. I'm thinking there's little, rumblings that they're going to cut it out with the mail-in ballot and all that nonsense because they realize, look, this is how people like to vote. If we keep telling people not to vote by mail, then we're depending on them to get up on election day and go vote, which doesn't always pan out. It's cold. You got caught at work. The kid is sick. It would have been really easy to send in that mail-in ballot because life happens. And so I don't know. I don't think they will be expelled. I think they should be, and they should be publicly shamed. Like in Game of Thrones, Kim, I know you're watching it. They should just walk down and we should throw things at them and say, shame. Shame.
As they do the walk of shame. My husband just handed me, I know it's not Friday food day, but my husband just handed me a peppermint frosty from Wendy's.
Look how lovely he is for you. My husband's not home, so he's not handing me crap, but
I didn't ask for that. Have you tried it?
I'm not much of a milkshake smoothie type of person. How is it? Oh, that wasn't a face that I particularly... No? No?
I could do it. I think I could do without it. It's
your life is complete
bad.
without it. Is it peppermint tea enough?
Yeah, it tastes like it's got a little hint of candy cane.
Okay.
It's pink.
Oh, it's pink. Let me see the inside of it. Let's see. Yeah, it's not that pink though.
It's pink.
Oh, is it really?
It kind of has the look of Pepto-Bismol. It's pink.
Or pink slime.
For the light, yeah. Or pink slime. I don't know. It's got a little chalky taste to it. I'm not sure if I'm into it.
All right, that's the early Friday food segment. Well, I'm not going to be here on Friday. I was telling everybody earlier, Friday and Monday, I will not be here. I'll be gone for the holidays, but I'm going to do some shorts or something, hopefully, for the Patreons. I'm thinking it's going to be food related. So I have something in the work. It matters if I could time it out. You might meet my mother.
Oh,
I'm trying to convince her to do something. I know she will. It's just with everyone coming into town and all the stuff we have planned. Yeah. I'm trying to work out schedules. If I do a video with my mother, you're all going to say the exact same thing, is that we look like twins, and we do. It'll be really, really funny if I can get that done, because there's some recipes that we do specifically for the holidays that I'd love to share with our Nikki Medoro Show listeners. So I do have some things in the work, but yeah, we'll be off on Friday and Monday, and yeah, hopefully I'll get that done and do some shorts and Patreon videos for you guys.
I kind of want to be on with your mom.
Well, I'll give you a call if I can make it happen. I was going to record it though, so we'll see how it works out, but maybe I can bring you in on the phone. Maybe I should get a mom segment, right?
Oh, that'd be really funny. Yeah.
Would your mom come on and we could just have a whole mom segment?
Yeah, my mom would come on.
My mom, I giggled to myself. I don't know how it would go. She's definitely one of those parents where, like, during COVID when you were doing the video things, you'd only see like the top of her nose or something. I'm like, Mom, bring it down a little bit, but she cracks me up. She's really a funny woman. So we'll see. I'll see if I can work something out, because I have stuff in the works.
All right, do a daughter show too. We brought our daughters into.
Yes, I would love to do something.
Break that we should bring them in together.
Your kid's still in school though, right now, huh?
She's taking finals this week.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. You know what's happening today? I know we're coming off on a little tangent here. You know what's happening today, Kim McAllister, that you're going to be so excited about? Marley has her first Christmas cheerleading performance this evening.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll try and get some video and maybe I'll show it off. Her cheerleading, if anybody has a kid or was in organized sports like this, my God, I did not get home last night until 8:30 at night, running around between practices and wrapping presents. This is the most magical time of the year that runs many people ragged, I know. But I saw all of these cheerleaders coming out of this last practice before the performance tomorrow. It is going to be a mob. So we'll see. It should be really, really fun. She's extremely excited. This is the first time she's stunting. But she's a base, so she's not a flyer. But during her performance,
she could be a flyer though. She's got a.
She does not want to. Oh, she does, but she does. She is so frightened to fly.
Like, there's a reason I'm the base. I'm a very solid bottom of a pyramid. I'm a very, that you're not going to fall if you got me holding your foot. I'm with you. But
yeah, Marley doesn't want to fly. She is so scared. She could. And now that she's getting a bit stronger because her medicine is working for her Crohn's, I'm really encouraged by it. So I keep telling her, I'm like, now practice more, like get your stretches down. That's what she is really nervous about. But when you're in a sport, you need to do these things. And so her cheerleading is not at school, so it's a different kind of studio. She wants to be a high school cheerleader though, and so she fears
There's my
that
girl.
if she goes to high school cheerleading, they're gonna make her be a flyer because she's so tiny. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, give it a shot,
You
dude.
take one
Fly
look at
in
her
the
and you're
air.
like, you're going up.
Oh, she's
Yep.
so tiny. Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. I'll keep you posted. But yeah, I'll take a video and maybe I'll show off my kid tomorrow because I'm so very proud of her.
I am too.
Let's talk
So
a little bit about Elon Musk. Kim McAllister, if I paid you how much money, would you be CEO of Twitter right now? How much would I have to pay you to be CEO of Twitter right now?
Yeah, and I come cheap, actually. I would say
Don't whore yourself out, woman. Come on.
like maybe a couple $100,000, and I'd step in there
F
and do it.
that. Are
But
you kidding me?
Well, you know what I would do
CEO.
is
What?
I would just take away all the well, I would have to have the caveat, no input from Musk,
Oh, that's never going to happen.
right?
That's
So
never going to happen.
if I could have full autonomy, take it back to the way it was, maybe make a few little minor adjustments. You know,
Okay. What
I
would
think
you
I
do
could-
first?
I would probably straighten out the whole check mark thing.
Yeah, the
You
blue
know,
check mark, the verification. Look, Calvin Wong, I love it. 10 million. I'm thinking millions
million.
at the very.
Oh.
You're a couple 100,000. Are you
Yeah,
high?
I mean, what
No
do you need?
way.
You know, no. I
Yes,
don't need
at
to
least-
have the CEO pay, whatever. You know, there's the people that make CEO work that make Twitter work are the developers, are the
You're so nice. You can't be
those are the
CEO.
people
You're
that
too
make it.
nice.
Yeah.
You're way too nice. I mean, I would want to work for you because you would, probably be the nicest CEO out there.
I
But
would buy a parking lot, free parking for all Twitter employees. I'd make it happen.
sure they get
They
that.
should totally hire me.
There
Yeah.
you go. Well, put your resume in because Elon Musk is actively looking for a new CEO because, I think we mentioned this yesterday. He did one of these stupid Twitter polls asking people, should I find somebody else to be CEO? Here is a CNBC report. I'm just going to play you the sound of it with them talking. Well, where did it go? Did I lose it? Oh, damn it. I lost it. Well, they were basically saying that Elon Musk does not and has made it abundantly clear that he never wanted to. Apparently, he said 4 months. It's a 4-month trial and we'll see how it goes. But he does not want to be CEO. He'll own it and he'll own every sort of, good headline there is, a little Trumpy that way. But he does not want to be CEO. I think he has made it extremely difficult to find anybody that would want to be. So let's see the final tally of his poll again on Twitter. Let's round up. 58% of the more than 17 million votes wanted Musk to step down. About 43% did not. And now some are saying it's a bunch of bots, which is obviously Twitter's problem. With him banning journalists and obviously targeting news, which arguably is the bread and butter of Twitter, it's going to be extremely difficult to find somebody that wants that job and wants that headache. You know how much scrutiny there's going to be on the next CEO if it's not Elon Musk? What are you going to do? How are you going to do it? Who are you going to hire back? Anytime there's a huge change, I don't care what business it is, there's going to be, this microscope put on it. And I wouldn't want that job. I would want to be the person that comes after the CEO that Elon hires. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be the next person, not this person, but the next person. Oh, look at this. Eric Kennedy, Snoop Dogg's in the running. Looks like he posted a Twitter poll too. Yeah. You know what? Snoop Dogg, I believe, is a very shrewd businessman and an extremely hard worker.
Yeah.
He works his butt off. And God, for a guy that went from, a rapper, a hip hop artist to all of the things that he does, it's amazing. Who would want? Yeah, exactly. Who would want to work for Elon Musk? I wouldn't. I absolutely would not want to.
Speaking of
I would
bad
not
bosses,
want to. What? Oh yeah, Elon would be the worst.
It'd be a nightmare.
Absolute worst. Let's see. So Mo Direct, we were talking about, hey, I'll be the CEO if I get that golden parachute, which if you don't know what a golden parachute is, you're fired, but you get like millions of dollars to leave. It's ridiculous. So he says golden parachute. What do you mean golden parachute? We're talking platinum. Got to be at least platinum, $10 million, 90 days, sink or swim in one totally non-disclosed platinum parachute. I love it. Oh yeah, I would never be the Rebound CEO. I'm not the rebound girl anyway. Yeah, and Murphy, Snoop Dogg, it's so funny how reputation, let's just compare Elon Musk and Snoop Dogg, right? If you think Snoop Dogg, you probably think certain things. Rap music, weed smoking, and probably Martha Stewart. Now he does a children's program. You know what I'm saying? Where he does raps, teaching kids about how to be inclusive, and they're catchy little songs. So,
he's Snoop Dogg doggy line now, right?
What is it? Oh yeah, the doggy collars and
stuffed up. Yeah,
yeah. He has his hands in all different kinds of pots. So, pot being the key word. I think that he's a very smart man. Unlike Elon, Murphy says, non-existent sense of humor. Snoop Dogg is funny. Again, do you remember him and Kevin Hart? What was it, doing the Olympics play-by-play? Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Okay, so coming up, let's see. I'm going to do this in the 1 o'clock hour because I have a lot of sound that I want to talk about. I want to talk about in the 1 o'clock hour, in the next hour, the Harvey Weinstein verdict. The rapist is guilty again, but not guilty in every case, which is disappointing. It's disappointing for the first partner, Jennifer Siebel Newsom, and for a lot of people, wondering why is he not being held accountable for everything that he's done? And then we'll get into kind of this Hollywood public figure risk. There's one music artist, Kalani. She was sexually assaulted at her own concert. So how does something like that happen? Scarlett Johansson weighs in on being groomed as kind of this bombshell type of actor. And then we will touch on Kate Winslet. She weighs in on the whole Titanic door theory.
I like how you put that.
The door theory, yes. But she also weighs in on, when someone says something at a certain point in your life and you don't have the best response, and then years later you're like, damn it, I wish I would have said this instead. She talks about that, about how we talk about women and even in compliments, how just demeaning it can be. I'll give you an example of it, a recent one with Mindy Kaling. You remember her from The Office and other things. Mm-hmm. Britney Spears, another person who has been objectified since she was a child. So I'll have some sound from that. So I'm going to really get into that in the next hour. And I want all of your guys' reactions to that. Amber Heard, Johnny Depp, they just reached a defamation settlement. So that's kind of put away. But that's, a story that kind of was reversed, right? People are not believing, or a lot of people, not everybody, Amber Heard's story. And it's because they had arguably a very abusive, both ways, relationship, verbally, allegedly physically. And does that kind of, taint the whole conversation surrounding it? But coming up after Kim's news, we'll do a couple of money stories. Starbucks baristas are begging people, stop paying it forward. Just stop it already. And they'll explain why. Some good news if you are looking for a car. If you go to the grocery store, there's an easy way to save money on produce, but it might not sit well with all of you. I'm going to show you and explain it to you. And then you tell me, would you be able to go into a grocery store and actually do it? Or do you do it already? You're like, I don't see what the big deal is. And then we have to get into that salad that will get you high. Did you hear about this salad in Australia? Yeah, there's a salad that made people hella high. They were hallucinating. So that is all coming up. But first, some news.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Medoro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
And this report sponsored by tax attorney Steve Moskowitz at 888 Tax Deal. The Biden administration has yet to respond to the Supreme Court's decision on Title 42. Chief Justice John Roberts granted a temporary stay yesterday that effectively pushed the pause button on the plan to end the policy that allows border agents to expel any immigrant over COVID concerns. 2 Americans detained in Afghanistan, they're now free. Sources telling CNN filmmaker Ivor Shearer, who was arrested while filming in Kabul, is one of those Americans. The second American's name has yet to be released. The gun industry is being sued by the city of Buffalo, New York. The mayor, Byron Brown, announced what he described as a first-of-its-kind lawsuit. The filing names manufacturers, distributors, and local gun shops for what the city says is their conduct in fueling the gun violence crisis in the city of Buffalo. This is a breaking story, just came in. Scott Peterson is being denied a new trial for the murder of his pregnant wife 20 years ago. Yeah,
it's
that's
around
right.
this time that it happened. I mean,
Yeah,
it is
20 years ago.
insulting. It is
That's right.
insulting. Jesus.
So today, a judge decided not to give Peterson a new trial
Good.
based on accusations against the juror that she possibly hadn't been truthful about her own personal history with domestic violence.
Name
Judge
a woman
said,
that doesn't have any sort of history with any sort of sexual assault, abuse. It kind of goes into the conversation we're going to have next hour. Find a woman that doesn't even have a taste of what that could feel like. And you're not going to have any female jurors. I'm sorry.
yeah, there was some type of issue of whether she filled out her juror questionnaire appropriately and listed all those things on the questionnaire. Doesn't matter. The judge says it's a no-go. There's
Good.
no new
Good.
trial, and it's kind of a permanent decision because it can't be appealed. So this decision is it.
Okay.
He does have 120 days to submit any new evidence if he has any in this case, but it looks like he's going to be staying in prison for the murder of Lacey Peterson.
Good.
There is a woman accused of breaking into actor Robert De Niro's townhouse in New York City. Police say 30-year-old Shanice Aviles allegedly entered the Manhattan home early this morning and she stole Christmas gifts. She's like the De Niro Grinch. De Niro was reportedly home at the time. He was not hurt. Aviles taken into custody at the scene. Police had reportedly been following her for a number of alleged robberies in the neighborhood, so maybe she didn't know it was De Niro's house. I don't know. Over the last few weeks, apparently, police say she's robbed a few homes in that neighborhood. She reportedly has more than 24 past arrests, mainly for burglary.
Well, that's funny. Yeah, because I was reading that story and they were following her and then they saw her go into Robert De Niro's house. He didn't even know she was in there. He's just sort of coming down and the cops are like arresting this woman that's stealing from his house and stealing his gifts. She sounds probably also that she has, I don't know.
Merry
I don't know if she has
Christmas.
mental issues, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
And because it's Christmas-ish and also Hanukkah, we'll just give you a little taste of Christmas with Mariah Carey's Christmas
Oh,
special that airs tonight. Did you see the one from last year?
no.
It was painful. It was painful.
I
It's
don't know. I don't
basically
think she does well at live at these things. You know what I mean? Like she has an amazing
it
voice. Don't get me wrong, but
it
I don't
was
think these kind
her
of
in a
events are her thing.
series of cheesy little scenes in a new Christmas dress where her boobs were popping out of the dress around the tree, and I'm like, I can't. Even Julia looked at me and she's like,
No. Aw, I'm
uh-huh,
not knocking her. I'm just saying every time I hear a story about Mariah Carey having to do one of these live outdoor cold Christmas time events,
right.
I don't think she likes it. I don't know why you hire her. Do it in the summertime when
I
she doesn't have
think
to worry about it.
she's realized that she's the so-called queen of Christmas because of
Yeah.
All I Want for Christmas. So she's got to capitalize on Christmas. Like that's going to be her moneymaker, right?
Well,
She's got to be the Christmas face. Well, tonight's 2-hour primetime concert series starts at 8 p.m. Eastern. It airs on CBS. It streams on Paramount Plus. If Mariah Carey, Merry Christmas to All is up your alley, tonight's
there
the
you
night.
go. All right.
This report is sponsored by tax attorney Steve Moskowitz for more than 30 years. Steve has put his tax knowledge to work for individuals and for businesses. So if you need help with your taxes, you got to call Steve. He's the man. 888-TAX-DEAL or MoskowitzLLP.com. I'm Kim McAllister on the Nikki Medoro Show.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. I think Chris was in the chat. He's like, I can't stay, but I came to click that like button.
Nice.
Thank you, Chris. Mwah. If you're still here, please click the thumbs up. It's free. Doesn't cost you a dime. Just a second of your time. That's all you have to do. Just click the thumbs up and YouTube loves it. And we want to give YouTube everything that they love. Again, if you want some merchandise, please support our show in that way. Just go to the Nikki Medoro Shop or the NikkiMedoroShow.com, shop or show.com, and you'll find the merchandise there. I'm going to be planning some other things. You guys have been sending me great ideas. So maybe next month, we'll try to get some different merchandise out. But yeah, so go to the NikkiMedoroShop.com. You get a tote bag. You can get a large logo t-shirt. We also have a small logo t-shirt that has a logo about that size. And then we also have cups. And the cups are really popular. And then one of you in the chat was trying to convince me to replace my my love over here, Matthew McConaughey with Brock Purdy. Now look, I won't even put Jimmy G there. Talk about Matthew, my kind of hottie. It's in the name, people. He's not being replaced. I might put some merch over his face just to advertise it, but Matthew's not going anywhere. I guess I should put a picture of my husband somewhere, but we'll just keep him incognito. I know, but why? We have Matthew, like right here. Come on now, people. So again, thank you to everybody that supports the show. Again, the Nikki Medoro Shop.com is where the merchandise is being sold.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk some money, shall we? So Starbucks, they're really friggin' done with all you people. I don't do this. I'm fully going to admit this. I don't think there has ever been a point in my life where I've started. Now, I think I've participated. No, maybe I haven't. Am I gonna be honest around the holidays? I don't know if I've ever participated in a pay it forward. Like at the Starbucks line. The Starbucks line. I've done other things, but not the Starbucks line. Maybe once. Maybe once.
It feels exciting. There's a little like, oh, this is so fun and so kind.
Okay, well, they hate it. Okay, so the Starbucks people are like, stop it already. Let me show you. This is from one Starbucks worker, and it's so funny. It's like, I just want to say publicly, as a former Starbucks barista of nearly 7 years since the current employees can't say it, pay it forward is extremely annoying and makes everything confusing. It makes it easy to hand out the wrong drinks, and it sucks. Instead of paying for the people behind you who could probably afford their own stuff since they're in line intending to pay, tip the people making your drinks who have been working understaffed for months. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. What do you think?
So what she's saying is, I assume it's a she.
Yeah.
Don't do something nice for a stranger. Give the money to me.
Exactly.
Well, honey, that doesn't have a real good look for you.
Why? I mean, why not pay it forward to the person that's actually doing something for you?
Because you don't. It just seems like a tacky thing, you know?
Are you serious?
Don't give the money to a stranger. Don't do something kind for someone who's totally unexpecting of it. Give the money to me. I just feel like that doesn't have a good look. No.
Okay, who agrees with Kim? Because I completely disagree. I would say, look, if you're making me something, working your butt off, and I don't work for Starbucks. I think fewer people tip nowadays because of the app and everything like that. So I don't even think they get as many tips as they did before.
Sure.
One Bay Area Starbucks worker was actually interviewed by the Today Show, and he prefers to stay anonymous, but he said the concept of paying it forward doesn't make sense to him logically because every customer at Starbucks knows that they're paying for a cup of sugar and milk for almost $7.
Right.
He adds customers tend to know what they're getting into and are, again, likely able to pay for their own order. He also says that the pay it forward line trend often forgets the very real people serving the drinks who likely could use a little holiday cheer themselves, Kim McAllister. He says, a few times I go to Starbucks in my off time, I will tip my baristas. I tip as often as I can whenever someone is making me food or concessions. Right. My company does not promote tipping. So why would I expect my customer to promote tipping?
But there's nothing that says you can't tip your barista and pay for the guy behind you. A lot of people have different opinions on this. Mindy says, right on, pay the baristas. Michelle says, no, it makes Starbucks baristas sound like a selfish
whore. Are you saying whore? Oh, I was saying whore.
Am
I right, Michelle? Yeah, I chose whore. Okay.
Right on, Randy. Andrew, I never drive through anything, but I would skip it if offered. Let it go to the car behind. Okay.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I mean, I think that people's hearts are in the right place. I'm not knocking people that do pay it forward, but what I am saying is, if you're like, okay, I'll pay for the person behind me, or I'll pay for the person behind me, and no one's tipping the actual worker, right? I mean,
right.
We're missing somebody, right? We're missing a huge part of this whole entire thing. And again, it makes everything complicated for the person. So not only are you not tipping the worker, you're making their job harder. So just tip both. I would say tip both, or just don't do it at all.
That's what David says. You can do both. Generosity doesn't need to be limited.
I completely agree.
Wow, it's really divided. Either people are like, Kim's right, or Kim's way 100% wrong. I just feel like you don't come out and say, you know, to a thing that's supposed to be meant to be kind and fun and generous and inspire good feelings. You don't come out and say, don't do that. give the money to me. I feel like that's just really a tacky thing to say.
Well, I don't think that the barista is going to say it at the window, but what if instead of paying for the person behind you, whatever the order was, the total was, you tip the barista that?
Yeah.
I mean, like you could do it in a way where it's kind of paying for it, but like tipping, I don't know. Just don't forget the worker, I think is my whole point.
Pay for the guy behind you and throw a few bucks in the jar. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, Mindy's generous. Drop $50 in the cup. How many of you do the George Costanza? It happened to me the other day. I didn't pull it. You know the Seinfeld episode where George wants to tip, but the person didn't see him drop it in the cup, so he tries to take it out and put it back in. I didn't watch a lot of Seinfeld, but I know that episode. So
That's really funny.
I went to go get some. Actually, I went to the mall and I got Mongolian barbecue because I can only get it at the mall because it's near me, and it was bomb. And the guy like had just cleaned the griddle thingy, and so my food was the first thing that touched it, and I was really stoked about it. But my daughter had taken my cash to go get food at another little food court place, and so I didn't have any dollars on me to tip the guy because normally I throw $1 or $2 in.
Yeah.
And so when I met her and I got her food and then I took out $1 and I went to put it in there and he didn't see me and I was like, I don't.
He's never gonna know that you.
He's never gonna know. Well, because I felt like he was really helping me get it in the bag, and I'm not saying he did it because he was expecting a tip, but I wanted to tip him, and I felt like George Costanza. I was like trying to like slowly put it in, and then it just looked like I was gonna steal the damn thing, and I was like,
eye contact.
He was working and I just couldn't be like, hey, here you go. Thank you. And I didn't do it for the thanks, but
Nancy says it's called tipping. It's not the same as pay it forward to a stranger. Every Christmas, I look for what I call my Christmas angel to give money to when they don't expect it.
Yeah, I
Nancy,
like that.
awesome.
I like that. Mm-hmm. Mindy Lee, I'm going to tip Starbucks jar going forward. Yep. I think it's what you can also afford, right? It sucks to be the person that ends the pay it forward line. Like you're like, yeah, and thanks, and no, I'm not paying it back. But if you can't afford to do it, what if the car in front of you had 4 drinks and all you need is a drip coffee? Like that's what I can afford right now. Sorry. Too bad.
Our friend Tony from San Antonio says you don't pay it forward because someone can't afford it. You pay it forward as a nice gesture. Stop being greedy, barista.
See, I don't think it's greed. I think it's like, whoa, remember me, the person making your drink? How about giving some love this way? And yeah, Mindy's going to throw $50. There you go. Yeah, I don't know. It's just something to think about. Just make sure when you're being generous this holiday season, you're also generous to these very underpaid workers out there, as much as you can, as much as you can. Okay, here's a thing for you. Oh, I wanted to also let you guys know, if you're looking for a car, anyone in the chat looking to buy a car? I know a lot of people were holding on to their cars because car prices were insane over the last couple of years. According to Business Insider, car prices could drop 20% next year. That is huge. I mean, they'll probably be kind of sort of back to normal. But so here's where to get the best deals, according to Business Insider. First, make sure you buy domestic. It said Brian Moody with Kelley Blue Book says brands like Tesla, Volkswagen, and BMW are generally more expensive now than in the past. So looking for something like GM, General Motors, or maybe Hyundai, Mazda, or Buick, they might have some slight price increases, but not as dramatic as other people. If you're looking for a bigger car like an SUV, you probably won't get the best price. The type of vehicle matters. So they say there are some deals, but if you want a vehicle that is maybe lower in demand or in a region that particular vehicle doesn't sell as well as others, you'll get a much better deal. If you do need a pickup truck, minivan, or something like that, they say go secondhand or, a used car. Don't buy those cars new. So anybody looking to buy a car? I'm driving my Prius into the ground.
Andrew says he wants to get a Chevy Bolt, but that's a 6 months wait.
Wow. I mean, I know there's some people that, and we've had the debate over all electric cars. I'm looking for a better car, especially if it's a Lexus, Michelle says. My dad has a Lexus. Oh, how old is it? It is so old. But he babies that thing that he'll never give it up. I think if he could die in that car or die with that car, he'll be happy. And I want him to live for at least another 15 years. So we'll see.
So we bought a Toyota Highlander
when
my daughter was born. So it's 13 years old now. And it's kind of
wow.
I like to call the color Pinot Noir. It's like a burgundy,
Reddish.
right?
Okay, okay.
And it started peeling. It was embarrassing in the mom line because it looked like the shabbiest looking car. It had the clear coat was peeling off the hood, and
Yeah, that
the
happened to
top of
my
the
car.
car
Yeah.
looked horrible. So we had a choice. We could either offload it, buy a new car, or get it repainted. So we found I don't know, was it Les Schwab? I don't know, some type of paint place. And we
Oh,
drove it and we paid $1,800. This is a couple of years ago to have it repainted. It looks like a new car. And you know, those Toyotas, they go
they
for
last. Yeah.
300,000 miles or so if you take care of them. And so we've got 100 and something thousand miles on this car. It looks brand new now that we have it
Nice.
painted, and we're just going to keep going.
Did you paint it? So did you paint it the same color that it was?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, did you go
Because
like
no, because the inside of the doors were painted. Like there's
Oh,
a
that's
bunch of things
true.
that you
Yeah,
don't want to
yeah,
mess
yeah.
with it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, my car just hit my Prius and I got it. It's a 2016, but I got it on December 30th, 2016. Okay. Doesn't matter. It was new. I just hit 137,000 miles on it.
Oh, yeah, but
So
those Priuses again, they'll go forever, right?
they'll go forever. And of course, this
Yeah.
was, I drove a lot when I was commuting back and forth to San Francisco. And then add on top of that, the mom taxi. So 137,000 miles is easy to do, but it's going well. I keep up on the maintenance and I hope that my daughter, I tell her, I go, you're going to turn 16, 17 years old. This could be your car.
This
And I'll
is
get a
your
new car.
car.
Exactly.
So Murphy says we really want the Ford F-150 all electric Lightning.
There's a waiting list on that, isn't
There
there?
was, and we paid to be on it. You had to pay like $150 to be on the waiting list. If
Okay.
you don't end up getting the car, they give it back to you. So I don't know why they make you pay anyway.
Okay.
But my husband was really wanting this electric Ford truck, as Murphy talks about. But he did a little research on the towing capacity, like if you have to tow a trailer or whatever.
Right.
Apparently, people say that when you try to tow something, you have to pull over every 10 minutes and recharge. Like it's just not conducive at all. There's not enough
Really?
power to pull something. So look into that before you get that truck, Murphy, because I don't know, there's something about the towing thing that makes it not so good.
Yeah. I don't think that you should sell a truck that can't
Right.
tow well, right? Nick writes in, my mom bought a Lexus last year, way too much car for her. No,
I'm trying
and then
to click around.
Eric says, I love my Toyota hybrid. Second Toyota I've had. They
Yeah.
last forever. I love my Prius. Pardon me. I really do. I don't find it to be the cutest car. My car is distinctive because I have stickers on it, which on one hand I love. Like I have Big Hero 6, the white stuffed thing, from that movie, that cartoon. And it goes fa la 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 la. I got that sticker on my car because the kids loved it. And then I have a "Stay Sexy, Don't Get Murdered" sticker on my car. And then I have I got a couple stickers on my car, which is fine and it's fun. And I don't mind having a sticker on my car, except when crazy people stop in traffic and yell at you through your window, now they know what car I'm driving because it's not
Right.
just a regular Prius anymore. It's the one with stickers. So
Yeah.
might have to take those stickers off. Michelle writes in, never get a Beetle unless you never have to commute with anything less than your purse and your Instacart all your groceries. Yeah.
Just has no room. Yeah.
You have to look in the trunk, people. But the Beetles, the Bugs, they were always like that. Dave, it takes a total dump when you're towing 100-mile range max. You're talking about the F-150 electric truck, I'm
Right.
assuming.
Mhm.
That is BS, if you ask me, for the price
Yeah.
tag on that damn thing. Check out the Rivian. Is that R1T if you want to tow?
Cool.
The
Okay.
Rivian. Who makes that? Rivian. I don't know what a Rivian is.
Rivian. It is that's the name of the company.
Oh, is that
Rivian.
it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's an electric car maker. You don't see them often, but you see a few of them here and there. They're starting to pop up around the
Okay, I'm going to show you a
Bay
picture.
Area.
Let's see if we like it. All right, you guys ready? Let's do
My
this.
friends and I refer to Priuses Prii as road lice. That's funny.
Boo on you. Okay, so that's the Rivian.
Yeah.
It's kind of cute.
Yeah, it's nice looking.
And it's a little boxy, but it kind of has like that Range Rover type of feel or look to it. All
There's
right.
more. Is there? I think there might be more than one model. I think they might make a truck as
This
well.
is the
Can you-
R1T. Let's see. Can I
Oh,
scroll?
that's the R1T. Okay.
This is, I don't know. They're not giving a very good. Oh, there it is. Oh, I don't like the lights at all. No, it
Well,
looks like it's
kind
a
of- I
cartoon.
mean,
No,
it's an electric car. It's like a newfangled thing.
I don't
It's
like the
supposed to look
headlights.
like it's from the future.
I don't like the headlights at all. That is a no for me. And I'm so picky like that. I will totally not buy something because the headlights are weird. And the back of it looks I don't want to yuck anyone's yum.
No, I mean, so listen, you see all the success of Toyota. I mean, not Toyota, of Tesla, right?
Right.
And people not liking Elon Musk now. And you look for an electric car, you have a maker like Rivian, who it would be great to support a company. I don't know. They might be a California company, even Bay Area, possibly East Bay. So I like to support a company like that that's kind of up and coming.
True.
I don't know.
Yeah, but again, if I'm buying a car, I will have to well, I'm lying. I'm totally lying right now. But, well, I don't know how much the Rivian costs. I didn't look at the price. But my Prius, I don't think Priuses are cute cars. I don't.
No.
I am not buying, and I say it all the time. I did not buy this car for how it looks. I bought it because I commute to San Francisco every day. So that's the only reason I bought it. But if I'm going to be on a waiting list for a truck, I damn well better light the headlights on it and not feel like I look like I'm stuck in a cartoon.
A lot of people agree with you. The
See?
front ends are so ugly on those Rivians. And
I don't like the back either.
The oval lights are ugly. Ren says I agree with that. That is ugly. Michelle's like, nah, with the headlights.
Telling you, I'm so picky like that. I'm like, yeah, and no. That's not going to happen, especially if it's expensive, if it's cheaper. And not that my Prius was cheap. I think it cost, because I bought it brand new, close to $30,000. That's a lot of money. And a truck's going to be more than that. So if you want to like Aptera.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
Okay, let me look it up.
Aptera. Lori's like, never buy anything like the first model of anything. Give it a couple years. Let them get better at doing it.
Are they kidding? They're kidding about this Aptera. Hold on. Are you ready? You guys are kidding. There's no freaking way. What the hell is that? What is that? Aptera. It's like 1,000 miles on a single charge. And would go under a big rig on the freeway. I am not riding on Bay Area roadways with that.
That's
Healthy
not like
plan.
a real car. What is that? That is from the future.
It goes to 0 and 60 in 3.5 seconds. I don't know. There's 1,000-mile range. Why be a passenger when you can pilot your future with Aptera? Yeah, I don't know. That thing is weird looking, and it's like a step above a smart car. I feel like it's just going to go right underneath the big rig that doesn't see me on the road.
That's really strange.
Let me look at the vehicle.
I guess it's the wheels that
it's a solar electric vehicle that can require no charging. This is what we talk about. And it starts at, look at that price tag.
That was your whole thing. Yeah.
I'm like, why can we not have cars that just solar charge themselves? I don't have to. Okay, kind of winning me over. $25,900. That's decent, but talk about no trunk room. Where the hell do you put anything?
How do you get your kids in that car? Where am I going to put everybody? How do I fit an oboe, baseball gear, and 2 kids in there? I don't
even think you can fit 2. It looks like a 2-seater a little bit. But I mean, I've never heard of this before. No. Wow. Oh, it has 25 cubic feet of storage. I don't know what that I don't know what that is.
That's cool, Nick. Thank you for sharing that. That's kind of interesting.
Oh, look at that. Are the aerodynamics going on?
You know what I don't get? Why that front wheel thing comes down so low to the ground.
It's making it more aerodynamic, I would assume. See how the wind goes? It goes over that and under that.
All the things that could get stuck on, you know?
I mean, you definitely don't want to hit anything, but look at this. The drag coefficients, a measure of the amount of resistance on an object encounters as it moves in comparison. So Aptera has 0.13, a Tesla has 0.23, and a solar racer, whatever the hell that is, 0.07. So that's interesting. Thanks for sharing that. I'd never heard of that car.
That's cool.
I don't even know if you could call that a car. I mean, it's like a spaceship kind of thing. 3 wheels. I think you need a motorcycle to drive it. I have no idea. Oh, Nick says, what about night driving? Well, the Aptera goes 1,000 miles. I mean, how often are you driving at night? How long are you driving? Nick says it reduces vacuum around the tire. That's why that thing comes down, Kim. Oh. Look at all of our engineers that we have in the live chat. That's interesting. They have plans to expand cargo room, but it has space. Okay. I told you guys about that car when you were at Station X. Oh, Floyd. Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Maybe I didn't see the picture of it. Maybe we didn't Google the picture of it.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I think I would have remembered that car, if you want to call it a car. That doesn't look like a car to me. All right, we have time to fit into one more money story. Now, I don't know if you saw this. It was making the rounds. It kind of went viral a bit. All right. I'm going to share my screen. Hold on. I want to share this with you. Okay. So when you go to the grocery store, Kim, I want you to be honest with me. Do you eat grapes?
No.
You've never taken a grape?
I'm not going to say never.
Okay.
There have been moments where I'm like, my daughter has this thing and they have to be crisp and puffy.
Yes, I am the exact same person. If they're not,
if they don't do that, she doesn't want them.
No,
so
I don't want that either.
Moments where I have made her try the grape, or I have tried the grape to make sure that it's at its peak crispness.
Okay, so here we go. Let me show this to you guys. So
but they sell them to you by weight, so you can't just pop all the grapes in. You're stealing, right?
Well, I'm not sitting there having lunch, but I need to check if they're crisp. Now, what about this? Now, this, I'll eat a grape. I don't know if I can do this. Okay, so here's a TikTok video of what one woman does inside the grocery store. Okay, here you go.
I am not paying for these, so I just put them up for more.
What?
I'm going to pay for what I am going to eat.
So she cuts off the stalk of the broccoli. So, it can come with a really long stalk. And she's like, I don't eat that. So she snaps it off. Or the woman, the article that I read, sometimes brings a little small pair of, like a paring knife, and will cut it off. Her grandmother taught her that. And so everyone's like, that's stealing, right? I mean, but is it the same as taking a banana off a bunch? I don't want that. I'm not going to eat that one. So that one's going to stay over there. Maybe somebody likes to have, I don't like stalks of broccoli. I don't eat that at all. So what do you think? Is it stealing? Would you do this?
I would never do that. I'm shocked that someone would do that.
Okay.
If you don't want to buy the broccoli as is, then don't buy the broccoli. But it's not up to you to go and broccoli Karen. It's not up to you to go in and alter the broccoli to your specifications. If you want to ask the store, listen, I don't want to pay for the stock. Can you have a separate section of broccoli where you guys have, cut them? And if they want to do that, that's fine.
And they do that sometimes. Yeah.
You don't walk in, and make changes to a sweater before you buy it. Why would you do that to food? I think that's wrong.
Okay, well, then you're going to be shocked because I'm going to play this video. It's about a minute or so of a Walmart worker reacting to what they're now calling Broccoli Gate. Here they are.
Since we're still on Broccoli Gate 2022, I work for produce in this grocery store.
He has a bunch of tips. Watch.
Some things are sold by weight. Some are sold by the units. And we're going to talk about a few of them. Cabbage, for example. These right here, customers will break this off. When they buy this cabbage, for some reason, they don't want these outside leaves.
Nope.
They snip them off. Just like this. They leave them laying. Throughout the day, they get piled up. And one of us will come over here and we pick them up and we take them back to our compost.
That's a good idea.
Now, occasionally, we do have customers who ask for any of the leaves that are left over that customers do not want. They take them home and use them for various reasons. I don't ask, I just give them over. Bags of grapes. These are also sold by the pound. You may be happy with this bag. Some people are not. If you are not happy with this bag, you can add to it by taking some out and filling another one up.
I do that.
Just like this.
Do you?
Yeah.
If this is all you want, that's fine. If you want to add more, that's fine.
Huh.
If you only want a handful,
watch.
You can get a produce bag and you can just take out a small handful because it's sold by the pound.
I really don't like the idea of someone touching my produce.
Somebody
has always touched your produce, Kim McAllister, so stop.
Get your hands off it.
All right, now there's a couple more here. The grapes, though, look at that price right there.
Pre-picked, whatever you want to call it, and put in a container is $3.47. That's a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
You can get twice as much for less than this. One slice of tomato, the size of my hand, right? almost 3/4 of a pound. These tomatoes cost $3.26 a pound.
Wow.
For the cost of that one tomato, you can come over here and get two that are the size of my hand for $2.98. So yeah, at the end of the day, cutting these off may only save you the cost of half a pound, but that also adds up. And after all, that is Walmart's motto, right? Save money, live better. Do what you got to do.
There you go. They don't care. They don't care. Do it.
I
They don't
wonder if
care.
that video is sanctioned or if he's going to get fired for that.
I mean, I think the compost thing is interesting. Remember, he was saying like customers will come in and ask for some of it for their compost. And two, why should you, like, how far do you go down this? I mean, if I want walnuts, am I going to shell them first because I don't want to pay for the shell? Of course not. Right. So what do you do to kind of justify one and not the other? I guess it's how big your cojones are on what you want to try to get away with. But yeah, I don't think I could take out a knife and cut off the stalk. I'll tell you this though. If I was really desperate, which I don't think I would be, and if it was easy to break off, you know what I mean? Like maybe, but I don't think so. They just sell the broccoli crowns. You could buy those. But I wonder what the price difference is. I'd have to do the math on that. But there you go. Some money saving tips. Again, if you're brave enough to do it. Okay, so stick with us after Kim's news. I want to get into the Harvey Weinstein guilty verdict. Again, he's a rapist. Everybody knows it, but not in every case. The first partner, Jennifer Siebel Newsom, her case did not work out. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about double standards. We'll hear from Kate Winslet, not just about the Titanic door theory, but about what she wishes she would have done back then when people were commenting about that iconic movie. We have a ton of stuff coming up, but first, some news.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Medoro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
And this report sponsored by tax attorney Steve Moskowitz at 888 Tax Deal. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell is backing House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy to be elected Speaker. McConnell told reporters today he's pulling for McCarthy to secure the gavel despite disagreements on key issues like passing an omnibus spending package before year's end. McCarthy has criticized Senate Republicans for not passing a stopgap spending bill that would punt the annual appropriations bill into next year when, of course, Republicans take back the House. And again, the race to the government shutdown is on. Lawmakers trying to beat a deadline of midnight on Friday, and they have unveiled a $1.7 trillion funding package in order to do so. The military would get nearly $860 billion in this deal, and there would be a substantial boost in money put toward medical care for veterans as well. A strong earthquake rocked Northern California. This happened on the coast during the overnight hours. It was a magnitude 6.4. It was reported just after 2:30 this morning, right near the town of Ferndale, not too far from Eureka. Nearly 20 smaller aftershocks happened very quickly. This knocked out power to more than 71,000 customers in this coastal area, a 30-mile stretch of communities, 2 people injured, lots of things falling off shelves. We saw pictures this morning of some streets that had buckled as well. No reports of any threat of a tsunami after this 6.4 shaker. It happened about 10 miles off the coast near Ferndale. Congress could soon get a report on former President Trump's tax returns. Democrats on the House's Tax Writing Committee could vote today to release the report after a years-long legal battle to get their hands on Trump's tax records from 2015 to 2020. Trump was the first president in decades to not publicly share his returns upon taking office. Gas prices, you may have noticed, down. Very much so. They're headed toward $3 a gallon in some areas. AAA reporting the national average price for regular is down another 2 cents today to $3.12 per gallon. It's 12 cents less than last week, 55 cents lower than it was just 1 month ago. Speaking of money, woo! Tonight's Mega Millions jackpot is worth $465 million. It has been more than 2 months since players in California and Florida split a jackpot of more than $500 million in the multi-state lottery. Tonight's numbers will be drawn at 11 p.m. Eastern. When it gets that big, I always think it might be worth playing. This report, sponsored by tax attorney Steve Moskowitz. For more than 30 years, Steve has put his tax knowledge to work for individuals and businesses. If you need help with your taxes, it's all about Steve Moskowitz. 888-TAX-DEAL or MoskowitzLLP.com. I'm Kim McAllister on The Nikki Medoro Show.
All right. Thanks for joining us on the second hour of the Nikki Medoro Show. I know all of you are just going to click that thumbs up button real quickly. We'd love to start and continue the show. And the thumbs up is the easiest way to support us. And it's free. It costs you nothing. And if you want to become a monthly Patreon subscriber, it's really easy. You can go to my website, thenikkimedoroshow.com. You can also go directly to my merchandise site, thenikkimedoroshop.com. And we have all kinds of merchandise like you see behind me. More merchandise is coming. And if you become a Patreon subscriber, you're going to get sneak peeks and you'll be able to give me advice and we'll do special videos for you. I have some stuff planned for over the holiday. At least I want to do something with my mom. I've been trying to get her to do something. So we'll see if the timing can work out because she's a busy woman. Don't you love it when you ask your mom to do something and she's like, if I have time, my daughter, I am quite busy. And I'm like, okay, my mother, I will try to fit it into your schedule. So we'll see if we can get that going as she prepares for her holidays. And I hope that you guys are going to have a very happy holidays as well. And Nikki Medoro Shop merchandise is a great gift, even if it doesn't arrive by Christmas. Just give them the receipt and they'll absolutely love it. Yes, Kim McAllister.
I'm going to be a Debbie Downer.
Don't be a Debbie Downer. Why?
I'm so happy in the next shot over there, but I have to update a story.
Oh, no.
That the earthquake story from Humboldt County this morning.
Somebody died.
Yeah, I'm so sorry
Who
to report
died?
this. There were 2 people injured.
Oh,
Now
no.
we have reports from ABC7 in San Francisco that 2 people have died.
Oh, that's
yeah.
unfortunate now.
It is a total mess, widespread damage, thousands without power, 11 reports now, 11 injuries. So 11 people hurt. 2 people died as a result of medical emergencies occurring during. So that is something that we're following and we'll update you as to those 11 other people that were injured as well.
Again, what was the magnitude again?
6.4.
That is a significant earthquake. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. So, well, our heart goes out to all those families. Oh, that's devastating. I mean, an earthquake is devastating with the damage and all that, but you hope that there won't be a loss of life on top of it. So that's really sad to hear. Kim will obviously give you another update after at the bottom of the hour. Okay, well, since she's already brought it down, let's talk about the rapist, Harvey Weinstein. I mean, I'm glad. Okay. When you first heard he was convicted, and it was a mixed result from the jury, what did you think? I mean, on one hand, we all know that he's a rapist, right? But this is the second trial, right, that he has faced for allegations that he's raped people. So let's see. The film producer, the disgraced film producer, as we like to call him now, he was convicted of 1 count of forcible rape, 1 count of forced oral copulation, and 1 count of sexual penetration by a foreign object. The jury deliberated for 10 days before coming up. He's already serving a 23-year sentence after being found guilty of rape and sexual assault in 2020. He could get up to 24 years for this newest conviction. But of course, you know, people like Jennifer Siebel Newsom and others, the jury acquitted Weinstein of those charges. So it's a mixed bag. And I can't imagine what it must feel like to be the first partner or any of his other victims. And be like, okay, you believed this person, but not me. And it's just, and we heard the stories when the first partner was testifying, you know, and how he was making her feel when she was on the stand. And, he is like the poster child of what happens in Hollywood. Okay. He is the poster child of somebody who is in a position of power, who literally, I'm not exaggerating, has somebody's career in the palm of their hand and can take it away in an instant. That's what we heard. He would blacklist actresses if they denied him. You know, you're an up and comer. And so all of a sudden, you know, you feel like you have to do something or everything, and all the blood, sweat, and tears and the rejections that you had are on the line. And that must be such a helpless feeling. And I'm going to say for a woman, but I know it can happen to men too. But it has to be so helpless to be like, you ass, Like, I'm talented. That should be enough for you.
So there's one thing. If you decide that you would like to sleep with a director in order to get a part in a movie,
right?
That's your prerogative. Is it
Well,
sleazy?
yeah.
Is it gross? That's fine. But what we're talking about here is being forced against your will.
Exactly.
Where, at least in Jennifer Siebel Newsom's case, she goes to his hotel room because there's other people there and they're having a discussion about a movie part or something like that. And then all of a sudden the other people leave. And then you're forced.
And then you're in
saying,
it.
And you're saying,
you're looking
no.
at this guy. I mean, look at that. Oh,
You're
God.
saying no, and he does it anyway. Now that's different than making the active choice to sleep with someone for whatever reason that's going to get you somewhere that you want, even though you don't necessarily like the idea of sleeping with a person. You're making a choice. He took the choice away.
Yeah. And because he was, and he is a producer. I see all of you guys. He's a producer. He's not a director. But Harvey Weinstein was iconic in Hollywood for getting movies made, greenlighting your projects, finding new actresses, finding new talent. And then he did this for years. For years he did this. And it's a terrible, horrible story. Now, is it great? Obviously, that he's being held to account. Of course it is. But the problem in Hollywood is so ingrained. And as a woman, it is disgusting to see the big and small ways women are exploited. And I'm just going to say, and I'm just going to keep it men versus women right here. I know that there's many different dynamics, but how men will just take from women, take their body and take their safety, even if they don't even know them. And this story, Kim, horrified me. And there have been times in my life, especially when I was much younger, where, maybe you're at a club and, not that you're asking for it, right? But you look good. You're wearing a nice outfit. Yes, you look sexy. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. And then all of a sudden you can walk by a crowd of men and they can act and say whatever they feel they want to. And it's not right. And it's not right. And if you have the spine to say something or even slap the crap out of them, that's one thing. But there are more moments where women are walking through a crowd of men and men will just grab them. And it happened to Kalani. She was on her tour. She's a singer. Let me see. I think I have a picture of her. If you don't know exactly, here she is. This is her. And she was giving a concert. She was on her Blue Water road trip tour. And on December 12th, so not too long ago, she shared her frustration. She said, I made video after video and deleted it because I don't want any video of me as angry, triggered, crying, upset as I am anywhere. She says, I don't care how sexual you deem my music, my performances, my fun with my friends, dancing at clubs, or me. That does not give you the right to cross a boundary like sticking your hands up my skirt and pulling my underwear to touch my genitals as I'm being escorted through a crowd after performing. I want you guys to literally think about what she's saying. She's gotten off stage. She is surrounded, I would assume, by her entourage. And yet fans reach in and do this to her. She's also, this made me sick to my stomach. As a victim of sexual assault, I am endlessly triggered and mind blown. She's been a longtime supporter of sexual assault victims. And this is the problem, right? The problem is it's twofold. One, women are supposed to be sexy, right? Be sexy, be svelte, be, muscular, have big breasts, show them off, right? You're praised for it. There are headlines, if you're in music or acting, that will lead with it, right? I'm going to show you one right now just to kind of prove my point. Because on one hand, it's a compliment, right? We're just complimenting you. You look great. Okay, look at this headline on its right here. Let me shut that. Mindy Kaling, 43, flaunts her sculpted legs in a white cutout mini dress in new Instagram photos. Work, Mins.
Clickbait. Yeah.
So here she is. Here's the picture. Now, she looks great. She really does. But again, So she's in a mini dress. She has cutouts. She's looking just on point, right? But does that give other people carte blanche to not only comment about her body, but then touch it? And that, I think, is what Kailani was talking about. It's like, I could be up on stage and yeah, I could twerk my butt off. I could be dressed scantily. That still does not give you the right to touch me. And I don't understand why that message seems to be lost with some people. It's as if there is a certain segment of the population that says, well, if you're wearing a short skirt and your breasts are out, that is sending me the message that I can violate you. And I don't know how we pull back from that at all. I'm going to play you an interview that Scarlett Johansson recently gave. Now, Scarlett Johansson's had a long career. She was in Girl with a Pearl Earring, which she'll mention in this interview that she gave. But she talks about how she started to feel typecast as this bombshell actress. So here again is Scarlett Johansson.
For me, it was like, okay, I kind of started down this path of ingenue, and then, I did whatever movies, and then I did Lost in Translation and Girl with a Pearl Earring, and by that point, I was, 18, 19, and I was coming into my own womanhood and flirting with my own, desirability and sexuality, and it was, I think, because of that trajectory that I had been sort of launched towards, I really got stuck in this, and also it was definitely a part of my management at the time. That was a big part of it, my agency and all that stuff. But I was kind of being groomed in a way to be this, what you call a bombshell type of actor. I was playing the other woman and the object of desire, and I suddenly found myself cornered in this place, like I couldn't get out of it. I think for that kind of bombshell, that burns bright and quick, and then it's done, and you don't have opportunity beyond that. And I just felt like, how is this burning out so quickly?
How's that burning out so quickly, she says. When you're typecast as something, it's hard to get away from it. It's hard to, figure out a way to keep working while being judged for how you look. And so when you feel cornered, what do you do? Especially when you're in the public eye. I mean, there's decisions that you have to make in your career. Kim, we were talking about Harvey Weinstein, and, if some people have no problem sleeping with someone to get to the top, that's your prerogative, as long as you're not being forced to do it. I mean, I wouldn't lead with it, right? But some people, whatever, do you. But the forcing is the problem.
Let's talk about Nick's text and I can't wait to hear what you have to say about this. Touching without consent is wrong, full stop, obviously, right?
Right.
But comments have to be expected if you're putting yourself in the public eye. Really? Do comments have to be expected? Is it ever okay, public eye or not, to comment on what someone's body looks like?
This is what I'll say. I get what Nick is saying. You're in the public eye. People look at you, and so they comment on how you look. And I'm assuming that that's what Nick kind of means. The difference is I will go out, and I'll disagree also with this last comment from Mindy. Wear baggy clothes, men won't bother you. False. There are too many stories of women wearing very baggy clothing and being raped, right? I mean, there's the whole jeans theory. Oh, if her jeans are too tight or too baggy, it won't matter.
She's asking for it.
No, I won't support that thinking. But I'll say this: it's the double standard, and we're going to get to Kate Winslet's comments about that in just a moment. It's a double standard. I'll go out, I'm wearing a dress, my boobs aren't even hanging out, and neither is my butt. But someone will comment about my body, and then a husband or a boyfriend or another man will be wearing a suit, and nobody talks about what he looks like. Oh, he's looking whatever. I mean, sometimes I guess if he lost weight, it has to be that sort of thing. But it's like leading with it. Look at that Mindy Kaling headline. Oh, looking svelte in this cutout.
So I always comment on Steve Moskowitz's shirts. Because he always has some colorful, cute shirts.
Okay.
But I think it's different to say, hey, I like your shirt versus, oh, your
biceps are bulging
your
or something.
Look amazing. And that, I mean, I'm not commenting on the body. I'm just commenting on the apparel, which is different. Maybe I'm inappropriate.
Well, I guess you could always ask him. I mean, isn't that what we're always saying? Ask women, ask for consent, I guess. Like, Steve, do you mind if I comment on what you're wearing today? Right. I remember when Chip Franklin and I used to work at Station X together. We had one of these conversations he'll never forget about men commenting on women's appearance at work. And it blew his mind when I kept saying, you don't have to. And he's like, but I'm trying to be nice. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. I don't go home upset that Chip Franklin didn't notice my outfit today, notice my work, notice, all of those things that matter to my job. But men, and I'm just going to do again, just men versus women. Some men believe, no, I should be able to compliment you and you should want me to. And that's not true. Because when you do, you're one, objectifying us. You're looking at us. You're making a judgment based on how we look. And two, we don't need you to do it. We do not need to find, and more women have too much of their self-worth wrapped up in how they look because of it. Because, I'm only getting attention because my boobs are bigger. I'm only getting attention because my hair looks a certain way. And it doesn't have to be that way, people. We could notice other things about each other. And it sucks that women face this more than men. Okay, so let's get into Kate Winslet. Oh, go ahead.
Are we getting too far though? Are we going too far? Like if someone says, "Hey, you look really nice in that dress,"
I'm not offended. I'm not offended.
I'm not offended either. I just like, where's the line drawn, and how are men supposed to know where the line of the complimenting line is? Like you look really nice in that dress is different than, wow, it's a nice
dress. Yeah.
Right.
Nice dress. Or like hubba, or, and I hear what Lori's saying right here. I'd like to compliment you. Is that okay? Or is even this pressure? Never bothered me, but I'm not shy about standing up for myself. Exactly. I don't know how we get away from it. I just wish that if someone was going to notice something about me, it wasn't the knee-jerk physical appearance. I wish it was something else, like, God, you're funny, or God, I loved your work today, or something that wasn't so tied with something that may fade, right? I mean, my hair may fall out. I may lose all my teeth. I may get a hunchback. I might not be physically attractive anymore. Is my self-worth gone? That's the message we're sending some of these young girls, is that it is so wrapped up and it shouldn't be. And I don't know how we get away from it, but we got to be careful. And men, stretch yourself, compliment a woman that has nothing to do with her looks. It'll make you probably learn something about her, talk to her, listen to her. Right. And women do it the same way for men. I just think it's a little different. Yeah, I just do. All right. So Kate Winslet, should I do the door first or door last? What do you guys want to?
Oh, for sure. Door first.
Okay. Door first. Okay. So, so everybody knows, let me show you the picture. Everybody knows the scene in Titanic. Okay. There she is, her character on the door. Okay. And there's Jack, Leonardo DiCaprio, in the freezing cold, icy water. Okay. And it's icy because they hit a freaking iceberg. Okay. So, and here's James Cameron. They're all acting. Apparently the water was freezing in real life. So there have been all of these kind of theories of whether or not she could have moved the hell over. I have one more picture to show you. Now, this is what people often put up when they make the case that Kate could have moved the hell over. So here we go. So there's the door. And people will do like outlines, like all the different ways they could have done it. And so she was on what podcast? She was on the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast with Josh Horowitz, and had to address the theory that basically she could have moved the hell over. Okay, here again is Kate Winslet.
Could he have fit on the bloody... Look, all I can tell you is I do have a decent understanding of water and how it behaves.
You more than most, yes.
I really do, okay? But not just that, in my own life. Like, we paddleboard, we surf, we kite surf. I don't actually like kiteboarding as much as my husband does and is extremely good at it. I do windsurf and I really do enjoy that. I scuba dive, we swim, we cold water swim. Like, we do a lot in the water. One thing I can honestly tell you, so a paddleboard, so a stand-up paddleboard, if you put two adults on a stand-up paddleboard, it becomes immediately extremely unstable.
Right.
That is for sure. If you put two adults and, say, a 7-year-old on a paddleboard, you can't do anything. Right. You'll be tipping, you'll be falling in the water. So the reality is, it was a door that, is it an intact door? Is it a bit broken? It's a bit broken, isn't it?
You were there. Why don't you tell me?
I can't remember. Anyway, I think there's a piece broken off. I have to be honest.
It was broken,
right?
yeah.
I actually don't believe that we would have survived if we had both gotten on that door.
Okay.
I think that he could have fit.
Right. But he was already pretty worse for the wear. He
was.
Oh, I see.
It would have tipped, and it would not have been a sustainable idea. So you heard it here for the first time. Yes, he could
Once
have
and
fit.
for all.
He could have fit on that door, but it would not have stayed afloat. It wouldn't.
Now leave Kate and Leo and Jim alone.
And also, apparently, I was too fat.
Oh, no.
Isn't it awful?
It is awful. Isn't it awful? And so she continues in this podcast kind of addressing that. Now, remember, she was much younger when she did Titanic. At a point in your life where you're developing different ways. And so she talks, and I'm going to play you this clip where she talks about this double standard and listen to how she sounds. And I don't want to say regret, but it's one of those situations where, God, if I was in that position again, what would I have said? Yeah. What would I have done when people make comments like this? So again, here is Kate Winslet.
Why were they so mean to me?
They were so mean.
They were so mean. I wasn't even fucking fat.
It's insane. It's insane.
I've sworn so many times in this interview. I'm so sorry.
No, I love it. The way you and Leo were treated in different ways, bizarre. But you got your Oscar nomination. He didn't get the nomination. You at least got that out of it.
Yeah, lucky me. I did. I know, it's so weird. But it's funny, isn't it? If I could turn back the clock, I would have used my voice in a completely different way. I would have said to journalists, I would have responded. I would have said, don't you dare treat me like this. I'm a young woman. Yeah. My body's changing. I'm figuring it out. I'm deeply insecure. I'm terrified. Don't make this any harder than it already is. That's bullying, and actually borderline abusive, I would say.
1,000%.
And now that wouldn't happen. And if it did happen, a young actor would truly respond in exactly the way I just did.
Right.
But also,
I would hope so.
There's this nonsense of commenting on bodies and how women look. It's getting better.
Exactly.
But we've still got such a ways to go.
It's so ingrained in a disgusting way that it's also, hard to...
Even if an actress walks out on a red carpet and happens to look amazing in whatever she's wearing, the fact that people will say, looking, cuts a fine figure, looks honed and toned, or that dreadful word, svelte.
Right.
Don't even say it. We don't say that about the men. It's such an irresponsible thing to do, and it feeds directly into young women aspiring to ideas of perfection that don't exist, aspiring to have bodies that, the press are saying that we have.
Yeah.
It's for one night and one night only that we're in that damn dress. And believe you me, mine comes straight off the second I'm in the car on the way home and I'm in my pajamas. That is how it is. I'm right there eating chips and farting. That's what we do.
It is.
Off comes the heels, off comes the bra,
yes,
off come the chips.
Yes, and the farts, you know what I mean? Because we're people, we're human beings. We are more than what the media and what pictures want to make of us. I know I'm getting close to the bottom, but I want to play you one more thing or show you a couple more things. And this finally has to do with what I would say arguably is one of the people in recent years that has been vilified and objectified so much, and that is Britney Spears. A woman who can't, even in 40, she's in her 40s, and she posts a naked picture on Instagram, which is her right to do if she wants to do it. And she still gets comments after comments. Other people can do it, but all of a sudden she can't do it. And I know, with the conservatorship and the mental health issues that she's admitted she's had, I know some people are concerned. But then you tell me, if you could go through the life that she went through without having some sort of issue with appearance and body image and things like that. So let's start off with who should we start off with? Let's start off with actually Ed McMahon. So here she is on Star Search. Remember that show, Star Search? I used to love Star Search. Ed McMahon is right there. Listen to this.
Pretty eyes. You have a boyfriend?
No, sir.
Why not?
They're mean.
Boyfriends? You mean all boys are mean? I'm not mean. How about me?
Well, it depends.
You're an old man.
Ew.
You're an old man. And look how tiny she was. And what's the first question? She has an amazing voice. She's on a talent competition. Do you have a boyfriend? As if your worth is higher because you're desired by men. So there's one example. Now let's throw in another one. She's getting a little bit older. And now imagine you being in an interview and being asked these types of questions. Okay, here we go.
Talking about it.
What?
Well, your breasts.
Oh, God.
You seem to get furious when a talk show host comes up with this subject. Okay, in general, what do you think about breast implants? Just in general.
Well, I think if that's what you want to do and that would make you happy, then I see nothing wrong with it. But I haven't done that. But I think it's sad that people, think I've done that because that makes them want to go out. And, some of the fans that look up to me, they either think bad of me or they may want to go out and do that. But that's not my fault because the press started that. But
exactly.
If you want to do that, that's fine. But I personally wouldn't do that. So.
Still asked.
Should never have had to answer that question.
I mean, why are you asking a young lady about her breasts? We can go on. I mean, there was who was it? It was Barbara Walters and Diane Sawyer have had interviews with her that are embarrassing now.
It's like an early form of clickbait.
Right.
Because then the headline the next day is, Britney Spears, her breasts are natural, right? And then everyone buys that magazine or whatever.
Well, I'm going to play you one last thing. And this again goes back to what Kate Winslet was saying about, God, if I was in that situation again, what would I have said or what would I have asked? And this was one, just look at people are saying the relief on Britney Spears' face. Now, this is an older interview in reaction to what is honestly really an inappropriate question.
Brittany, my question to you is, I really want to know whether you are a virgin.
Can I answer this for you?
Yes.
Can I just say, can you go back to school? Can you go talk to your parents, learn some manners, then come back and ask a question because you're wasting our time.
Thank
Okay.
you.
And with that, do we have time?
I mean, I really want to ask Britney Spears a question. And the only question I want to ask is if she's had sex before. Why? Why does it matter? Oh, because she had come out and said she was going to wait until marriage. Okay. Does that give you permission to keep asking? I mean, there are actresses that before they turned 18, there were countdown clocks until she was legal to have sex with. Women aren't doing that to other women. Okay. Men are doing that to women. Men are doing that to women. And I'm not trying to hate on men, but I'm saying it is up to men to change the narrative, change how you address women, change what you notice about us. If you want to compliment us, dig a little bit deeper than our hair or our outfit or our makeup. That's all. And I think that if it could start on the day-to-day average Joe kind of level, hopefully it will make its way up to Hollywood. And, I'll get to some of the comments because you guys are asking really great questions. Like Nick asked, if you objectify yourself, is that giving permission for others to do the same? As we go to the news, Nick, I want you to define objectify. Does it mean anybody in the public eye? Does it mean doing anything where people know you? And so what do you mean? You let me know. We'll do some news. We'll lighten things up too, but I do want to get to some of your guys' comments because there's been a lot of them and I'm liking the conversation. But first, here's a news update.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Medoro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
And this report sponsored by tax attorney Steve Moskowitz at 888 Tax Deal. At least 2 people are dead after a large earthquake struck near the California coast. Happened early this morning about 2:30 a.m. The magnitude 6.4 quake happened near the town of Ferndale. That is about 27 miles southwest of Eureka. It knocked out power to more than 70,000 homes. Again, 2 people are dead, 11 reported injuries, no threat of a tsunami. Some Democrat and Republican congressional leaders are happy. They are happy with the $1.7 trillion funding package that needs to be passed by Friday. The Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said the omnibus measure will give troops a raise and defend democracy at home and abroad. Minority Leader Mitch McConnell actually agreed. Rent for apartments and single family homes in the United States are now increasing at a slower pace. Rent growth last month slowed for the 10th month in a row, with rents up just 3.4%. Some major retailers are putting purchase limits now on children's pain and fever medications as flu season surges across the United States. Walgreens limiting the online purchases to 6 per order for all over-the-counter pediatric fever reducers. CVS is putting a 2-product limit on all children's pain relief products. That's not very much, because that, as Nikki was saying yesterday, you go in, you buy more than one. So yeah, you've got some limits to deal with.
But I wanted to say something. I even went to Kaiser because I have to pick up my daughter's prescription. And I was like, oh, maybe they have. Nope. Don't even think that like the hospital pharmacy has any. They are out. And that's frightening. Yeah, I mean, I have some because I bought some, but I mean, my son is 11, so he can't take adult medication. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that he doesn't get a cold.
There will be, again, no new trial for Scott Peterson. After a judge rejected his claims of juror misconduct, the judge ruled the juror number 7's responses were not motivated by pre-existing or improper bias against Peterson in trial over the disappearance and the murder of his pregnant wife, Lacey. The Sacramento Bee says Peterson cannot appeal this ruling, but he can bring a new petition to the State Court of Appeals and the California Supreme Court. That's a process that could take several more years. So it looks like we'll be continuing to talk about Peterson legal maneuverings to try to get out of prison. San Francisco's longtime tradition of cable cars and photos with Santa continues both today and again tomorrow. Folks are invited to the Beach and Hyde Street turnaround to hop aboard cable car number 12 and take a selfie with Santa. Yes, tomorrow's free picturesque photo shoot will take place from noon to 4. You can get more details at sfmta.com. And Steven Spielberg's classic movie Jaws has a number of lasting legacies. There's one, though, that he says he really regrets. In a new interview with the BBC, the iconic filmmaker said he worries about the impact that the movie Jaws had on the shark population. A study published by Nature showed the worldwide population of sharks and rays fell more than 70% during 1970 and 2018. Jaws was released in 1975. The author who wrote the novel that the film is based on said back in 2000, he also feels some responsibility for the negative impact on great white sharks.
Does he think that they're depressed about it, or are people killing sharks because of the movie?
Yeah.
But they're killing sharks because of the movie?
First of all, because of the movie, that sharks got a bad rap. And
Yeah,
so
I don't think they care, but okay.
So that killing them isn't a big deal, right?
Oh, well.
I mean, who knows really if those two things are linked?
Yeah,
But
that's
I think when you look at the abuse of animals in the sea, or
Yeah.
The way we think about certain animals, we love whales, we love dolphins, we hate sharks.
They're
right?
scary.
Because
I don't hate them. Just stay the hell
Yeah.
away from me. How about that? Again, you
Now,
live
do you-
where you are. I
do you
stay where
feel
I
that way
am.
because of the movie Jaws?
Do I feel what way? That
That they're
they
scary because of the movie Jaws? If
They're
there
scary
was-
because they
if
have
Jaws-
gigantic teeth. That's why they're scary. They're scary because they're scary.
If there was no Jaws movie, would you feel exactly the same way?
Yes, if I was ever face to face with a dolphin versus a shark, there is one I would want to face and there's one I would not want to face. And it's because of the gigantic mouth and teeth. I've got big teeth. I scare some people with the teeth. I would not want to have a shark coming at me with big ass teeth. Sorry.
Steven Spielberg, you're absolved of guilt. Nikki says she would have felt the same way. Either
They are scary. Sharks are scary. I mean, I would not want to encounter. Now, do I think they should die? No. Do I want to be near one? No. They are scary, though. They will eat you if they feel that you're food. So don't make yourself food for sharks.
There was a time, even in a hotel swimming pool when I was a little kid, and
Uh-huh.
I've seen the movie Jaws, but I knew the song.
Uh-huh.
So all you would have to go was da da
Mm-hmm.
And I would be out of the water so fast.
Yeah. Oh, hell no. That's scary. I mean, have you seen those ads? And I've never gone to it. And I don't know if anyone's actually gone to it or if it's this fake social media ad where they show the movie Jaws while you're floating in the water, like at a lake or an ocean or something like that. I've seen it. I've never heard of anyone actually going. I don't know if I would want to do that. Definitely not an ocean. If it was a lake, it'd be like, there's no sharks here. But
so when Julia was 5, she had a huge problem with animals being killed for certain things. And one of her top issues when she was 5 years old was shark fin soup.
Oh, God, yes. That's awful.
Really awful. She said they just take the fins, Mom.
And then they leave the fish.
Shark.
Yes.
It's awful. So someday I'll find that video and show you. It's really funny. She goes, shark fin soup.
That's awful.
The news sponsored by tax attorney Steve Moskowitz. For more than 30 years, Steve has put his tax knowledge to work for individuals and for businesses. If you need help with your taxes, call Steve at 888-TAX-DEAL. You can also find him online at moskowitzllp.com. I'm Kim McAllister on the Nikki Medoro Show.
Thank you, Kim. Yes, Steve is a big sponsor. Hopefully we'll get him on. If not, I do have an Ask the Taxman video. They're awesome videos that he does. He does them with Chip Franklin as well. But Steve is a huge supporter of the show, and we really, really do appreciate him. Oh, let's look and give some shout outs to people. Mwah. Amy Brown, about $20. Happy holidays. You girls have gotten me through some really tough times over the past few years, and I appreciate that you did not desert us when things got tough on your end. You mean so much to me. Happy holidays, Amy. Oh my God.
Amy, I know.
Just like screenshot that one, and then I'll live on that.
Put it on my refrigerator.
Exactly. Yes. Oh, I love you. Thank you. Thank you.
Amy.
Thank you to everyone. Gilbert gave us $20. Merry Christmas to both you and Kim. We love you.
Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas, you guys. Happy Hanukkah. Hanukkah's happening right now. And Andreas starting us off with $20. We know we love and appreciate all of you so very much. And again, if you want to become a Patreon supporter, that's another way of really supporting the show. Just go to my website, thenikkimedoroshow.com. The Patreon link is there, and the link to all this merchandise that you see behind me. Sport your Nikki Medoro gear and then take a picture so that I can give you props on the show. I'll show it off, and I'm so excited that so many of you are about to receive a lot of your merchandise. So I do appreciate it. Okay, so let me get to a couple of the comments about what we were talking about. And Nick wrote me back. Oh, here we go. So Nick was talking about objectifying yourself, and he says, I would say self-objectification is selling your own image as a means of gain or advancement. Your own image. Okay. If the goal is a promotion or a new job and your outer appearance becomes the advantage, here's how I would push back on that. For a woman, our appearance always seems to matter, right? It doesn't matter if it has anything to do with the job. Believe me, I'll be completely blunt with you guys. There is a point during this show and developing this show that I've told myself, and I've thought ahead, in the summertime, if I decide to wear a tank top on this show, am I objectifying myself? Should I be showing more skin? I mean, I'm literally like in a mock turtleneck thermal because it's freezing in this freaking house. But, should I be showing off more? Is this even objectifying myself because it's a fitted shirt? All of these things women have to think about, because in this visual medium, our appearance does seem to matter. Now, does that mean that you can objectify me simply because I have a YouTube show and I'm showing my face and my image and I'm wanting to make money off of it? Does that give you carte blanche to say whatever you want to me about my appearance? People will. I can't stop them from it, but I don't think it's right.
And there's a difference. I mean, but even when there was no video, even when we were working in radio, I would still say looks mattered.
Oh, yeah. Looks matter more for women. I would say, if it's an attractive woman that, let's just say, let's do corporate world. Let's do outside of radio, because radio kind of deals with news, music, whatever. Talk about the corporate world. You have an attractive looking woman in a nice suit and she's traditionally or, pretty, versus, let's say, another woman who's not, maybe she doesn't look like a model, but they both have the same talent and skills. Oftentimes, not all the times, it is the attractive woman that may have a leg up, and it's not fair.
And we all know it. I mean, there's a reason now that you're making me be on camera that I have to put on mascara every morning.
Oh my God. Right? You don't have to. I've told you that. You don't have to. You think you have to.
I do feel like I have to.
I have never
Why?
told you that you
I
have to
guess
look a
the
certain way.
I guess the question is, why do I think I have to? Why
Because
do
we
I
live in this
feel like
society,
yeah.
you know? And I like that shirt. I'm going to mark that down. Objectification. I love it. I really, really do.
I love this text from Mindy. I like radio because I don't have to see the person to get to know their personality. And that's
Exactly.
the thing, because your personality can really shine. Who you are becomes the most important thing. And
Oh,
when you
absolutely.
add the visual to it, then that's a whole different layer that you judge the person on the outward, and you're not really getting that personality like you would be if there was no video.
Oh,
I think.
absolutely.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I think it's weird. I've been recognized even before Station X flipped. I've been recognized, and it boggles my mind, but that's because of social media. Unless I say my name, which there's no reason why I would say Nikki Medoro in public, because that's not my legal name anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I remember when we started the show, I think I told you the story. I was at a festival, and I'm behind this guy waiting in line. He looks, he's like, "Are you Nikki Medoro?" There is nothing that puts me quite on edge, like an absolute stranger knowing my name. But yeah, it's on one hand, I feel complimented. They know the show, they support the show. On the other hand, I want people to know me for my talent versus how I look.
As Michelle said, it needs to be talent over looks. I've had my voice recognized before,
Mhm.
standing in line and my back to the person, and they tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Are you
Kim McAllister?"
And that was great because that they would know the voice. I like that.
Yeah,
It was better.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Great conversation, guys. And unfortunately, we won't solve it on this show, but you guys gave me a lot to think about, and I hope I gave you something to think about of your interactions, and not just man versus woman, but woman to woman. Someone had said earlier in the chat, which was an excellent point, women need to compliment other women, right? About things besides their looks as well.
So is
God,
it
you're so
sexist
talented.
of me to say you look smoking in that fitted turtleneck?
No, I'm not offended by it, but I would not want you to talk bad about yourself in comparison to how I look. Do you understand? I don't want you to compare. I don't want to be a competition.
We all judge
But I don't
ourselves
want to do that. You know what I'm
in
saying?
a
And I don't want.
comparative way. Like that's just I think that's natural. You have to stop yourself from doing that.
And that's what I think we should do, right?
Allison writes, after years of listening to X, I really like to see your wonderful smiles and feel more like family than ever. But
Exactly.
that's the cool part is that if you listened to Station X, and if you are just joining us, welcome aboard. But if you did listen to Station X, you already know us, right? I mean, we were on the air having conversations every morning for several months at least, or longer.
Right, exactly.
So you already know us in that way. So just then to add the video on top of it, I don't think takes away as much.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't either. Oh, hold on. Kim, take over the show for just a second. Read some comments. Steve Moskowitz is just calling me, so I'll be right back. Hold on one second.
All right, let's keep it going with this because Michelle writes, in a society that would have women cut each other down, it needs to be okay to lift each other up. I agree, but I also don't agree because Lori was saying that it was kind of sexist what I said to Nikki, like you look smoking in that top. Is saying that doing what Lori's saying, that is that sexist, or is it doing what Michelle's saying? Is that lifting Nikki up? Because everyone likes to hear like, "God, you look great today," or "That top looks really cute on you," or whatever it is. When does it? I guess the question is, when does it become sexist? So, and we're back to that. Where is that line, and what is it okay to say? What's up, sister?
Well, I missed Steve Moskowitz call, so hopefully we'll bring him on. If not, again, big thanks to Steve Moskowitz, and we do have something to play for you. But what Michelle was writing, I do agree about lifting each other up, but how are we doing that? Right? I mean, I think it matters what we say. If I'm only noticing one aspect of you, i.e. your looks, and nothing else, then internally I'll be like, well, she or he only likes me because of how I look. And I'll tell you this, it could even go beyond that. Since Station X flipped, the identity crisis that someone that's only done radio for her entire career, there was a point where I even looked at my husband and I said, are you still going to love me, but are you going to be as proud of me even if I'm never in radio again? And that's something that I put on myself. And he's like, of course, don't be stupid. Right. But my identity was so wrapped up in being a talk show host on Station X that I was like, well, are you not going to brag about me to your friends? Are you not going to, talk about me with your coworkers if I'm not your
What
cool
am
wife?
I if I'm not that?
If I'm not that.
Yeah.
And so it's all of those things. So we need to find all the ways that we love and we care about and we respect each other that go beyond the things that fade. And that could be your looks. And sadly, it could also be your freaking career. So
It's funny, I asked the same question this morning to Mark Thompson, not not our Mark Thompson, but
Right.
Mark Thompson of Mark and Brian.
Yes, I was
Ozone
watching
Mark
that
Thompson.
interview. Yeah.
And I asked him, like, when your radio career is done, it's over, is your identity, how do you cope with your identity being so wrapped up in your career? And he had an interesting answer. And I think you and I are like this as well, is who we are as people in our everyday lives and here with each other is the same. It's the same. There
Same
is
person.
no like
I am no different.
the
Yeah.
camera turns off or the radio turns off and there's somehow something
I have like a
different than
British accent, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's over.
Or I turn into a different person. What you see is what you get. And so he said, so because of that, because I was always the same person,
Mhm.
then it wasn't like I died, right? It wasn't like I was any different. I was just more of myself than I ever was before. So
Exactly.
I thought that was interesting, and it kind of, I don't know, gave me a little bit of pause to think about that it's the person, not the way you're showcased.
Yeah,
Right?
it is. And it matters. I love this from Armando. My wife always tells me that I need to tell my granddaughter she is smart as well. Every time I tell her she's very pretty, it's natural. I was in the store with my daughter and I was talking to the woman behind the counter and she's like, oh, is that your daughter over there? Pardon me. And I said, yeah. She's like, oh, she's so skinny, which all of you know the issues that my daughter's having. I was immediately kind of defensive, but I know that she didn't mean it as an insult, but it's also not a compliment, right? It's one of those things where we just need to, it's
meant
easy.
as a compliment. When you say
It's
someone is
meant
skinny,
right. It's meant
like,
as a compliment.
we all want to be skinny. Oh, she's
But I
so
don't want
skinny,
to
that's
jump down.
great.
I don't want to jump down people's throats when I know that their intention is not to insult me. I just want to try better when I am complimenting somebody. So hopefully, and tell other people I know, try just a little bit harder. Find something else. Even if, and I think it was Murphy or somebody talking about compliment somebody's shoes or even their outfit. I mean, outfits kind of looks appearance, but something that's nothing that if it went away, it takes away some value of that person, if that makes sense. Ricky, I don't compliment on appearance, rather commendable action. Yeah. I mean, it's harder. I mean, it's so easy to just look at people and be like, you look good or whatever. Compliment the girl's mind, not her body. Exactly, Mindy. Exactly. Because you also don't know. So, you could be joking with somebody, and not know that they have body image issues or that they, have an issue with some part of themselves that you think is beautiful. Let's say it's their hair or whatever, or their smile or the shape of their face. They could have a hang up on it. So if we can get away from that, I think that also gets us out of really awkward situations as well. Someone on YouTube writes, I always try to look my best when I see the doctor as I get older, because I have it in my head that if you look crappy, they'll be more inclined to write you off. Interesting. That's an interesting. Do you feel that way?
Well, it's this thing about women, right? Like as you get older, some women say that it's almost like people look right through you. They don't see you. They don't, you're not treated the same way, right? So if you're young and beautiful, you get a lot of attention. But the minute you get older, or maybe you're not at your peak anymore, then you can be treated differently. You can be
that's scary though. If it's your health, right? I mean,
attention, right? Well, and it has been shown that as women get older, that they're not taken as seriously, that they're not given as much attention sometimes. So it's not an invalid concern.
Yeah, I just feel like one of the things that we really need to do and remember is that we all have insecurities, right? We all have these insecurities that play only in our worlds. We all live in our own little kind of reality versus perception versus the matrix, right? Red pill, blue pill. What do you focus on? What is your reality? Some people, they take every compliment as it is and they don't get hangups and they don't put all their self-worth in it. And other people have a different experience walking through this life. And if you feel like everything that is you or that is of value to others, because you're constantly just told that is your appearance, then geez, that's tough. And you wonder why, people are doing plastic surgery all the time and why people are, feeling like they can't age gracefully. It's because we as a society keep telling them there is value in the way that you look. And then when you do all of these things, then we're like, why do you care about how you look so much? You can't win for lose sometimes. And yeah, it's really difficult to know the right move. And I'll say this. I feel for men out there. I do. It used to be, I would say probably a lot easier to interact with women when we didn't have such a voice, I would say, or it was just like, yeah. And women didn't feel the need to kind of stand up for themselves in this way or demand more or any of those things. And so I just feel like if we can have empathy and patience with the men in our life, that they're learning and that they're trying, and give them credit for it, that matters. And again, men, dig a little bit deeper, because there's more to women, of course, than the way that they look. One man that I'm sure, and it is a huge compliment to this show, for his brains, not just his body, people, is the one and only Steve Moskowitz. Steve, thank you so much for being a huge supporter of the show. I want to tell you a quick story. So yesterday, when we were having the conversation about, if you own a home, having an LLC because of your drunk tenant who could sue you, I had my in-laws over, and my mother-in-law was just riveted by this conversation. And she even told me, because they had tax issues years ago, and she said, I wish I would have had Steve Moskowitz in my life. So I'm just saying.
Well, she still can.
There you go. Yeah, I think they settled it. But yeah, I mean, you are going to be on speed dial for so many people, Steve, because you help so many people.
Yeah, and I really enjoy that. That's why I, many years ago, left the world of the giant Fortune 500 corporations, because I realized no matter how good or bad I was, it wouldn't make a difference. Let's face it. I'm not going to make a difference to a Fortune 500 company. But to a small business or an individual, I can be the difference between that person having a nice life and just being ruined. Yeah. And I remember the very first trial I did, where the gentleman I was representing, he and his family every 5 minutes were reminding me if I lost his case, he would lose everything he'd worked for in a lifetime.
No pressure, Steve. No pressure.
See, that would have made most guys nervous, but to me it was exhilarating, because I thought back in the Fortune 500 days and said, I didn't matter there, but I sure matter here. and we were able to prevail, and I was just thrilled. And even to this day, and that was so many years ago when I started out, even to this day, I still get such a visceral thrill out of helping people. And that's one of the reasons I do this, because we really can make a difference in somebody's life. Let's face it, money and taxes is so important, the things that go with it. It's how you feed your family, and the clothes you wear, and the place you live, and the medical treatment you get. I mean, in an ideal society, we could talk about things, but we live in real life. And in real life, money really matters. That's it. And I would rather my clients enjoy that money rather than lose it if they can avoid it. In so many cases, there's a good answer to help them. And I really, to this day, really enjoy that.
And I want to remind everybody that you're willing to put in the work. And I don't think we can overstate this or say this enough. There are companies out there that will just give you advice or take your money and not do the work. Remind people, Steve, about the difference between what you do and what some of these fly-by-night companies do.
Well, first of all, the fly-by-nighters are not going to be around when the IRS has a few questions to ask. They're going to be long gone. We've been practicing tax law in San Francisco for over 30 years. And the bottom line is, with some of the companies, they're just trying to do the quick in and out mass production. They're leaving so much money on the table, like the CPA we talked about yesterday, where she said it was just too much work. That's why she didn't bother doing the more work for the ERC, and that cost the client $100,000. And I mean, that's the smallest one of the three. We had the $1.5 million, we had the $1 million, and this, again, $100,000 is a lot of money. But it was too much work for her, so she didn't bother, which just boggles me. It wasn't her money to give away; it was the client's, but she couldn't be bothered. Just move on to the next client. When I'm talking to a client, nothing else exists in my world except that client.
I love that about you. Yeah. You are going to save so many people's finances, their lives. So give Steve a call. He will put in the work. AAA Tax Deal or MoskowitzLLP.com. AAA Tax Deal or MoskowitzzLLP.com. Thanks, Steve. We really appreciate it. Thanks. Yeah. So give him a call. He's going to save your butt. And my mother-in-law was just like, she is so funny. She's like, you could see, because she was watching us on YouTube. She's like, I could see you and Kim just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, this could apply to me. That could apply to me. So think about how one conversation with Steve can change your life.
You know what's crazy is I find, and you don't think about it really until you start talking about it. And I was telling Steve the other day about some financial decisions that I had to make when I was laid off from Station X a while back. And it kind of like, I felt the emotions start welling in the back of my throat. So sometimes I feel like you don't realize how emotional financial stuff can become.
Hell yeah. I mean, absolutely. Yeah. And, you know, there's something to be said of, oh, I can't afford Steve. You can't not afford Steve. Right. Does that make sense? Yeah. You can't afford not to do what you need to do. Again, give him a call, AAA Tax Deal, MoskowitzzLLP.com. We love him. He's a great sponsor of the show, and we always appreciate him so very much. Thank you, Tony. Thanks for listening in Texas. Thanks to all of you again.
Yeah, thank you guys.
We love you guys. Thanks to Amy with a great holiday message to us. Happy holidays to everybody. $20 from her, $20 from Gilbert Peck. Merry Christmas, Gilbert, and all of you. And of course, Andreas, huge supporter of the show as well, in the live chat with $20. Show tomorrow, we're going to talk a little bit more. Did you know that California has 30% of the country's homeless problem? We got to get it together, people. So we'll talk about that. I'm going to get into the salad that'll get you high. I never got to that story. A 49ers prank I absolutely love. People need to get it together. Click that thumbs up. Become a Patreon subscriber. Just go to theNikkiMedoroShow.com. They're also merchandise, theNikkiMedoroShop.com. You can find it all right there. I love you all. Take it away, Jacob.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. You're proud, like a beautiful blossom. You're all so the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.